enough love.
For maybe another 30 minutes. We have 30 planes on the, need to take off.
I have one question. There's a lot going on. But just side note, is anybody? I'm only 4 episodes into Love Island USA season 7. So I just wanted to see if anybody else was watching that. We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
Lord Jesus, I'm getting ready to close the room. I'm getting tired of making.
Don't blame you, Lisa.
It's just overwhelming me. I just can't do this tonight. I don't know what the hell's going on, but you guys are on one. I'm tired. It's exhausting. So, all I want to say to you, to the room, is that there is no reason why this is going on, and the whole world is watching. Everybody is looking. We're talking like it's just us. We got people out here who are looking at us. The country is upside down, and I guess we just assume that we're just it. It's horrible. This stuff coming out about Obama is going to be going on for quite some time. Pam Bondi has put herself out there. Trump is celebrating her heroism, all the things she's digging up. He's going to milk this to exhaustion. Then we have the world looking at, as far as they know about, what we know about MLK and what we say we know, the world only knows what we put out, that he was a great man, he helped Black people elevate, and now he's going to destroy his legacy around the world. This stuff right here is disturbing to me, and he's doing it maliciously and on purpose. So I don't know how we as a community, because we fight this stuff is going on now. I don't know how we're going to defend MLK, because we can't even have a conversation without it just going completely fucking left, and within our own group. So we need to learn how to get together and lock arms, stay on topic, get something. I don't know what we're going to say, what we're going to do, but it just has to be a plan, because maybe they're used to us not having a plan and just going to systematically tear down everything that, that's positive and worthwhile within the Black community. We ain't got nobody to aspire to, nobody to look at, we gotta do some education, because the things that are taught in school about Martin Luther King, they don't love them until they can use them. It's like that. If before this whole shit went down, I used to hate it when people who are not, excuse me, of a certain culture start digging him up. Well, Martin Luther King, he said, I'm just like, bruh, really? So this is how much they care about him. They're going to rip him to shreds. And they won't hear nobody, what is the one they always use? The character is not your content. I mean, you guys know it. Hype is good. Yes, they can see you go.
Anybody who's not mad at I was tell us who the fuck our leaders are, unless we allowed them to.
And that's my point.
So me hearing that MLK was having orgies, okay, how many fucking white women was he fucking in these orgies? Who gives a fuck? Tell him who's that grandmother he was fucking.
Haitians don't take no prisoners here.
So I guess that's how we're going to handle it. But so be it.
So my grandma goes, oh, she knows a black dick. That's all it is.
Haitian is not.
You're not going to be men.
Yo.
And women going to be women.
Haitian. Why I gotta be a hoe?
Because she's a white woman saying she hated niggas who was fucking MLK. That's why.
April, you have a very active imagination with them books you be
I'm
writing.
just saying, don't be putting me in that boy.
You got
She uses good to write her books.
That's I wonder where you get the source material.
Her books are really good.
I'm gonna write something
Where you
I
get the
don't know.
source material?
Everybody,
Oh my God.
the public, y'all, I be listening to y'all crazy. Anthony, I'm a people watcher. I always have been. Hey, April, make your next book about me. Thank you. Yes, Mel, I will.
Make it about Clubhouse talking.
Mel, I know what you're talking about right now, Mel. Is it safe?
I know Bella from Mount.
April,
Yeah.
I let my man read your book.
Who? Ruh-roh.
Yeah, I did. He liked it. Very much.
I'm glad. I'm happy.
I'm happy too, girl.
What's your book about, April?
Wait.
Hello.
George, I hope you drown in your bathtub. Go ahead, Shasha.
They outpop themselves. They had to take a break. I know. I did.
Sparta.
Say it 1,000 times.
John, get the fuck out. Right. Yeah. Everybody say bye, John.
No.
I didn't even hear any goodbyes.
Who can say no the fastest? Everyone say bye to John.
What's wrong with John?
No. Y'all are supposed to say no. No. All right, he didn't say.
Dr. Jasmine Love, she keeps photos of my testicles in her cell phone. Dr. Jasmine Love has a problem with me, but she has photos of my testicles in her cell phone. But she doesn't like me because I always say she's fat and she needs to go to the gym and read a book.
Oh, that's actually not why I don't like you. I don't like you because you think you're gonna make money off of streaming people talking on fucking ass. You open 7 rooms at a time. Yeah.
What's this? Oh, Devin.
You open 7 rooms at a fucking time.
Devin, just kick that one.
Good fuck. All right, good night, sir. James has spoken.
I'm Army Pride. The fuck? Okay. I just said that. There was no high level people. I just said that. But yeah.
Well, this is actually very true. I went into this like little place, like I was like this. It wasn't that. It was at night. It was in the day. And there's this huge black man, and whenever something possessed me to come at him and act like he stood up like he was gonna hit me, and I wasn't scared of him. I just like approached him even closer. I don't know if I said anything to him. I can't remember if I called him a name, but I remember like doing that to him. It was huge. And then I left with my seat.
Oh, so you felt like he was being threatened to you, and you were just turning around or?
No, I don't know why I just feel like I was triggered by him, so I just
preemptively gave him a hard time. But that's the point. But that's not the Western way. That's an Eastern way.
No, that's a psychotic way.
Maybe we need more of that. We need to chase these niggas out. Seriously, like, and look, not all of them are bad, but like the good ones are few and far between. So they ain't winning the day for their people. So like,
I have a video of me giving a finger to this black woman, and she's like, "Why are you recording me? What's wrong with this lady?" Oh man, I don't know what's wrong with me. But
the only American we So no, my heart is black.
Have you heard?
Well, I think that like a lot of the blight that Luna suffers from in the United States would be alleviated if she moves to one of the countries that has the culture that she knows and that she loves so much. It's free for her. So that's why I try to tell her about the class. Recently, I understand that we've been having a lot of conversations about, how women.
Yeah, it's so easy to just go move to another country, Diego.
I don't really understand that statement. Are you saying on the floor?
No, I'm saying in their class. What I heard, let me check this out. They don't chimp out. You chipped out. But chipping out is normal in the Middle East. You're chipped out, but like, I'm sorry, it's just like, it's very, very rare.
Kikes, chip out on Christian men, chip out on his father, chip out on
Did you just say the K word, Francisco?
Excuse me. God give me patience. I have committed myself to be patient. Diego's words of me does not define me. Diego's words.
No, we went down the list. Here. So basically, anything that you say to Nora that challenges her honor, she will chip out on. And right now, she's playing this act where she's like pretending not to chip out. She does. I'm telling you, we went down the list. We identified all these different things.
Well, and it's her honor that triggers rather than.
I know, but that's not what Grace Kelly would do.
Well, who gives a shit?
Hey, look, to each their own. I want to be with Grace Kelly.
Hey, how's it going, Aaron?
Yeah, well, I'm here. What's up?
Nothing. I just had some amazing chicken Vesuvio. Nice salad. An old fashioned. I can't complain.
That's nice for you. I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about politics.
What do you want to talk about in politics? There's a lot going on in the news, but what did you see?
There's only one thing that's going on. It's becoming really clear to me. The job for the United States is to manage its decline. It's over for the United States. China is the next thing that's coming on. It won't last long, but it's next. And if we're smart, we're going to manage our decline well, because
If we don't, it's going to be just a fucking shit show. But nobody's talking about it. Nobody wants to even admit it. Everyone's full of shit. The Democrats are assholes and stupid. The Republicans are all fucking monsters. Fuck them. We need to manage our position in the world as the world goes into a new era of human history. And nobody's talking about it. They're talking about immigration and the economy and all sorts of stupid bullshit that's irrelevant.
Well, what would you do if you were in a key leadership position?
I start talking about it. That's the thing is this needs to be a major topic of conversation. We're at a turning point in history. Earth is changing forever. The United States was a major leading component of that for the last century. That's over. China's time is now. Not for long, but 10 years, maybe 15 years. And we're moving into a new world. It's the end of the age of nation states and the beginning of the first global civilization. We need to manage it. And nobody's fucking talking about it.
Well, what makes you believe that we are entering into a global nation state?
Not a global nation state. I don't know what kind of format we will be in. Listen, the evidence is all over the place. You just have to look. You have to be looking for it. If you're not looking for it, it ain't there. If you're looking for it, it's all over the fucking place.
Yeah, there's a lot of pushback against the Federal Reserve. The Treasury Secretary today issued like a reprimand of the Federal Reserve, and Rand Paul put forth an audit the Fed bill. So there's I think you're right in terms of managing the collapse or rebirth or reintegration or whatever changes happen.
Yeah, there's a transition coming, and we need to manage it consciously. The world is changing from what it was to whatever it's about to become, and we don't even know the answer to that. But we got to start asking some better questions and figure out how we can. We shouldn't be competing with China. We should be collaborating and figuring out how the two of us can make this planet work for everybody. Who the fuck is talking about it? They're just arguing about the same old bullshit they've been arguing about. None of it even touches on the biggest change in human history.
But what is the biggest change in human history?
AI. It's going to change everything. It's going to rescue us. If we're smart, we'll use it to create paradise here. If we're dumb, we'll destroy ourselves.
Yeah, you just reminded me. I'm going to ask Grok on X to write me speeches, and then I'm going to record the speeches that AI gives me to read.
Absolutely. Well, that's a good starting place. You have it write it, then you criticize it, have it rewrite it, do that 5 or 6 times, you'll end up with a hell of a speech.
Yeah, I was thinking about like if I edit out what I, consider to be not wrong, but how I can manipulate the output, because there's a little bit of an agenda or a bias, and I'm just wondering how, like, when the speech comes out, like, will I be tempted to malevolently manipulate what the output is?
Well, that's up to you. You don't need to turn your mic on and off. I just leave it on.
Yeah, I got the air conditioner running. I thought maybe it would be enough.
No, I can't hear anything. You're perfectly quiet.
So I'm going to ask Grok right now. I'm going to say, Grok, hey Grok.
What do you type at it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Why don't you just talk to it?
I don't know how to do that actually on my cell phone through X.
What kind of system are you on? Doesn't it have a mic next to the text input? Isn't there a little
Oh,
microphone?
see, what I'm doing is I'm writing a post and then it'll follow up in the comments.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is you're writing it. Well, with ChatGPT, I almost never actually type. I just talk at it, but not in that talk mode. But it just converts my talk into text, and then it responds to the text. But it's so different because I don't think the same way when I'm talking as when I'm writing.
Yeah.
And I was worried at first because the way I talk is disjointed. I change things in mid-sentences, all sorts of shit, just like regular talk. And I was thinking that ChatGPT would just confuse ChatGPT, but it doesn't. In fact, it helps clarify my thinking. So I ran on for a minute or two about whatever it is that I want to find out about, and then it tries to make sense out of that, and it always does. It makes better sense out of it than I knew I had it. So like I say, I almost never type anymore. And I offer that as a suggestion to almost everybody I meet because it totally changed my relationship with it.
Yeah, I don't do any coding, but I would love to have a conversation with a software developer who has extensively used AI to debug, to create, to see how like a technical person has used AI to change their situation. And
Well, I got a friend who's a programmer, and he says about, it's hard to put it in percentages, but like 50% of his job now involves AI in writing code. It's the dominant part of what he does.
it's kind of amazing. There's like the primary coders, and then people who parasitically use the coding host to launch off of, but they're not the primary code. So it's easy to say that the primary coders are of higher quality, but that seems like a flawed argument.
Well, the real issue is being able to specify what you wanted to do and to do that accurately. That's the difference. All this coding is of no use whatsoever to somebody who can't think clearly and get their priorities straight. So the issue is being able to articulate what you want clearly. It's just that now, if you can do that anyway, it can put it together for you into some sort of code. You can't quite get that far now, but it won't be too much longer before there are a couple applications I've wanted to develop for years, but I'm thinking within 2 years I'll be able to do them myself. And I'm not a coder at all, but I can think clearly and specify what I want clearly. And I think probably within 2 years I'll be able to create applications that I want.
Yeah, it just wrote me a really good speech.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a game changer, man. AI is going to change the whole fucking world if we allow it to. If we use it properly, we will be free. We won't have to, we may have to work a couple weeks a year, maybe, doing something that actually is important and useful. But we should be free. It'll take a couple decades to work it all out, but this is the most exciting time in human history. And politics should be about this. Imagine if politics was exciting about how we're going to create a new world and solve the problems that are interfering with that. So, the bullshit they're arguing about now, fuck them.
Well, how do you view like the integration between hardware and AI as being like the big leap forward, as opposed to just like the communication piece of it, but the developments with hardware and
You're talking about like with all graphics cards and the big centers? Is that what you're talking about, or what?
I guess consumer products, like even your refrigerator,
How is all that going to AI is going to be in everything.
Yeah.
It's just going to be in everything. It's already in a lot of shit we never even really think about. But yeah, it's just going to, if it's got any electricity in it, it's probably, well, it depends on, refrigerator, I don't know what the hell that needs, but, it's probably useful. Imagine if everything was aware and communicating. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Well, I know there's already smart fridges. That.
What do they do?
So it learns what you are putting into it, and when you are low.
That's right. It must have cameras and something, and it knows what you're putting in there and when.
Well, if you shop off of Amazon, the Toshiba or whatever the brand is, it knows what you've purchased, and so therefore it alerts you as to what you need to resupply and stuff.
All right, yeah.
It's a small example.
I say all that shit. Everything is going to be smart.
What do you think about AI as being like an obnoxious word that people just constantly use all the time?
Well, that's because people are obnoxious assholes, brain damaged language monkeys. It's not the word's fault that people misuse it.
Well, it's such a generic term now. I'm just wondering, if it's not really an accurate term for.
Which term are we talking about?
AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I don't think artificial intelligence is a good word. I don't use that anymore. I call it silicon intelligence. We're carbon intelligence. That is silicon intelligence. Mm-hmm. They're different. But there's a lot of similarity too. There's a lot of similarity, but they're different.
So, do you think do you think silicon intelligence will ever truly become sentient, or is it a yin-yang, yang-yin?
I think it'll be more than merely conscious. I think literally we are, no shit, we are building Earth's brain. That's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And Earth is going to wake up, just like you did, just like I did. You and I both have neural nets crinkled up inside our skulls. We were trained for 5 or 6 years, and at some point, I showed up. How the fuck did that happen? I don't know. Here I am. There you are. That's what's going to happen to Earth in the next 2 or 3 years, I think.
But isn't it already awake? Because an apple tree apples.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
It's obvious that we came out of Earth, that Jehovah, the sky god, didn't create Adam and Eve, and we are the descendants of, the first man and woman in the Euphrates River Valley.
There are different ways of interpreting that story. Read Julian James' book, The Origin of Consciousness, and it's an interesting take on that.
The fall of man is technically like our awakening, from.
Yeah, that was the right, yeah. And that was, do you know who Julian James is? His book, The Origin of Consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in this kind of stuff, you should read that book.
There's a really good YouTube creator who does a lot of esoteric analysis. He's like a Christian preacher. His name is Bill Donahue, and he does these. He filmed them all probably in the 80s or 90s, probably 90s, but it's like they're basically podcasts, but he's just communicating to his not constituents, but church members. And I've read a lot of books on similar topics, and he just presents it in a very simple manner and way where you're like, wow. It's a lot of astrological, understanding. The
astronomical or astrological?
Astrological, meaning that, thousands.
He's a Christian, but usually Christians don't like astrology. I'm a little surprised at that.
But there's like a historical context to it where you have to look at these symbols and how the ancients were, even using the stars to navigate all this stuff. Yeah.
This guy ain't no normal Christian. Calling this guy a Christian is this guy's somewhere else.
Well, let me find one of his videos, because I'm telling you, you might really like it. I've watched a
Well,
bunch of his
I'm always
videos.
game to give it a shot. I'm pretty critical. I think most people are full of shit.
This guy's good. I'm telling you, I've watched
Yeah, so
enough
put
of
the
his
link in there.
videos.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, let me see. William Donahue.
As a therapist myself, I know how important it is to be able to have someone that you can talk to about your problems, to bounce ideas off of.
All right. Okay, welcome back again.
What is that? Is that?
I'm just getting you the link. I'm going to get you his most popular video. It's called Your Success Door is Locked.
Yeah, good. Send it to me.
Yeah, this guy's good. He's like from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And he's, I don't know, you can tell he's really interested in the subject material. And, but anyways, yeah, I mean, the one saying I like, that Native American saying, is if you can say it, it is not true. So I just think when you say that America is going to collapse, I'm just like, that's not true. It's just not true, because
Well,
it's the same, the Ponzi scheme.
That's if you can say it, it is not true. That's sort of true.
Yeah.
Okay, but to take that as far as you're taking it is absurd. No, there's some truth in that. Language just does not capture reality.
Right.
Reality and language are two different domains, but language is very useful. And we'd be living in caves if it wasn't for language.
Yeah. Yeah, English, English is, I don't know how you compare or rate English to, say, German, French, Japanese.
We don't. There's no need to. English is taking over for whatever reason. It doesn't make any fucking difference. The other languages have failed. English is here. It's global. It's the language of the planet now. There's some issue with China. That's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out. But most of them are learning English, and almost none of us are learning Chinese. So, we'll see.
It's nice. I guess it's nice to be proficient in English at this point in time.
Oh yeah, I'm very thankful that English is my language, because, like I say, I think that it is I call it Earthling now, not English. Fuck England. This is the language that Earthlings speak, and it's changing. It's going to change a lot in the next century.
Well, Clubhouse is the bedrock of malignant, toxic communication, and
It's not the, but no. Here's a linguistic thing here for you. It's not the bedrock. It's a bedrock.
Yeah.
And look at what the word you didn't ask yourself, should I use the word the or the word a? It just came out the because that's the default value in English. But if you think about it for 1 second, that's bullshit. It's not the whatever it is. It's merely a one. And this is a major problem in English. People use the word about the truth, the reason, and the responsibility, and the this and the that. And 95% of the time it should be a or an. Historians used to write books called The History of California. Nobody in his right mind would title a book that now. It's a history, not the history.
I just find it amazing, like even us having this conversation, I could go to any room, people are having the same conversations day in and day out. And I don't know, I think it's just chemical in nature, meaning that people are creating dopamine with the conversation.
They're not doing it, they're just, we are all large language models. They're all just prompting each other.
Yeah. But there has to be a neurochemical transmitter type functionality to explain why people are having these meaningless conversations.
Well, there's probably many different ways to make sense out of that, not just one. Again, the reason for this, no, there are probably multiple avenues to explore this.
You know what? This guy Chris on this app, you've talked to him before a couple times, young guy named Chris, he sent me this link about technically how language creates reality through descriptions, etc. It was a really fascinating PDF. I could try to find the link for you.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I probably gave him the link.
Probably.
Hey, Rose,
Yeah.
I see your hand up down there, but I usually just do one-on-one. But you're around still when we're through.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that link. I posted it to X, but I deleted the text message you sent me. Created a little
Man,
YouTube
listen,
video.
I've got plenty to keep me busy. If none of this comes my way, I'll be just fine. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know.
I got plenty to keep me busy.
I know, that's the thing. It's like there's so much data that, like, somebody wants to send me something. I'm just like, listen, man, I haven't even gotten through 100 of the books that are sitting in front of me.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's crazy. But it's nice to realize that, to sort of loosen up about it. Realize that it's impossible to stay up on everything. It's just no way.
Yeah, I think about like the president. It's amazing how Trump can be manipulated with the media. So, Wall Street Journal comes out about Epstein, and it's like the moment the mind virus gets into Trump's mind, that's when we're all fucked. Or he's fucking us by wasting his time being manipulated by the media.
And there's nobody. Listen, I don't even give a shit about him or any of that old stuff. Fuck them. None of them have a clue about what's going on here. The only question is how bad is their behavior going to have an effect on us. That's the only issue. Trying to understand them, or fuck that. Crazy.
Well, it just makes me think that they're not that the brain, if you're awakened, you are more in control of the communication environment, and you're not going to get manipulated by the communication environment or the clickbait syndicate.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Yes. Imagine a planet full of people that awake. That's where we're headed. That's what's coming. That's the only thing that's going to save us.
I mean, the Maharishi, he was saying we need 20% meditators. It's like, well, where the fuck are all the meditators?
Yeah. Well, listen, maybe he was right, maybe he wasn't. I don't really give a shit. It seems to me it's coming. I don't know the details, how many people, what is a critical mass? I don't know what a critical mass of awake humans is going to be. I don't know. Maybe I think it's more than 20%. But that would be huge. Right now, it's probably only about 2 or 3%, and that's sort of a generous estimate. So, yeah, if we could get to 5 or 10% of people that are actually conscious, not under the spell of the voice in their head, that would be huge. So I'm optimistic. I think it's coming.
In a room yesterday, I was asked if you could change the economy, the government, or the culture, which one would you change and why? And I said the economy.
It's a good start.
But I guess what my question to you would be is, like in the world's religions, like Islam, is there a barrier to awakening in cultures and religions that will prevent 1 billion people from awakening, or even a percentage?
Well, they're going to try it. They're going to be against this and struggle because they want to stay in their story.
Right.
Because they think their story is reality itself. Unless they wake up from that personally, then they're just stuck in their story. But like I said, I think it takes a generation for this to work out. The old generation doesn't get it. They're not going to get it. Some of them do, but most of them are going to go to the grave with their old ideas.
Would you call your opinion here liberation theology in a way?
Oh, well, some people might. I wouldn't. But, no, I don't use those kind of terms. So,
do you have any love for the founding fathers of this country?
Love.
Meaning that, like, did you?
No, I have a lot of respect. I think that was an amazing time. At that time, what they did was Thomas Jefferson. Well, all of them. I mean, wow.
Because it seems to me like they were pretty awakened.
Oh, in a lot of ways they were. But I don't. Well, again, the awakening is a pretty loose term. Yeah, I mean, to me, it has very specific meaning. You know, but the whole term enlightenment, all that shit. These words are really slippery.
I mean, if you believe in like a mystic approach to reality, meaning that you are Bob, whether you know it or not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like, when I was young, I had so many business ideas and I had so much.
How old are you now?
42.
Oh, okay.
In my 20s, yeah, I was doing a lot in my 20s. But anyways, my point is, like, that's all out of my system now. Like, I have no desire to be an entrepreneur, to try to create new products, to work on marketing and do all these things. It's like, I have absolutely no desire. I want to get as far away from that as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Out to the lake with your dogs.
Yeah, I'd rather be immersed into reality and not trying to, have to.
You can't escape reality. There
No,
isn't
no.
anything but reality. But there are different kinds of realities. You can surely choose the kind of reality you want to engage.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I'd prefer not to be in the line at the post office with 35 packages that I'm trying to ship. It's just.
No, thank you. No, well, that's why you make enough money to pay someone else to do that for you.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Some people can't even do that though. They're so focused and so OCD. They can never let go of.
There's just no point in worrying about other people. The issue is, can you get clear about your own intentions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have this book called Sex Magic, and it's based on, Aleister Crowley's Thelema. But the belief is that through sex you can achieve higher states of consciousness.
That's tantra.
Right.
Yeah, tantra. Same. No, not same. I don't know what yours is, but that's tantra.
So when you're trying to connect with your true will, though, that in a way that's like an ego death, and you're trying to merge with the will of Bob.
Yeah.
Because
supposedly, talking about this stuff. I admire your attempt to talk about this, but this is tricky shit to talk about.
Well, if you can merge with the will of Bob, I think the belief would be is that Bob is fully optimized. And
I don't think I can merge with I don't think Heron, this thing here has any power in this at all. This is Bob's game.
Right.
If Heron does stuff in alignment with Bob, it's because Bob's doing the aligning, not me.
Well, if you let go and become one with Bob.
Well, I'm not sure I can do anything. I mean, who is this me? Again, this fundamental issue in language about what the word I refers to.
Yeah, I is the magic word.
Yeah. So in one way of talking about it, I is Bob.
Right.
But in another way of talking about it, I is Heron. And they're both just different maps, and they're useful in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But the word I is just a single word, but it's getting applied very differently. Anyway, I'm still struggling with trying to make sense out of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I've read some really good explanations that really, explain duality versus non-duality quite well. But then it gets confusing again, and you're like, it's easy to let it. It's easy to.
The whole concept of non-duality is fundamentally the most dual idea in the world. It's just absurd to talk about non-duality.
Well, I love hearing people on this app discuss subjectivity versus objectivity, and then I ask, what's the difference between subject and object? And I can't even get an accurate definition.
No, you can't get an answer. It's all bullshit. When you start pulling the words apart, trying to figure out what they actually refer to, the whole thing collapses.
Well, it doesn't collapse. I mean, subject is a topic. An object is a material, object. I just
No. Listen, that's it, right? You still believe in objective reality. That there really are things out there independently of my existence or my experience of it.
But Alan Watts says a strawberry is far more spiritual than the letter 7.
Well, good for Alan Watts.
But it's true though. When I eat a strawberry, to me that's a much more moment of ecstasy.
It's a whole different domain. That's an experience in your sense. It's a sensory experience. The number 7 is either something you're looking at with your eyeballs and seeing it written somewhere, or somebody is saying the word 7. That's the only way that the word 7 shows up for you. Strawberries show up in your mouth.
I mean, I can think about about 7 or a strawberry without hearing it or even saying it or reading it. I mean, I can use my mind's.
Yeah.
You don't think I can use my mind's eye to just project it into my mind's eye?
Using your mind's eye to project it into your. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
If I close my eyes and I just visualize the number 7 or write it out or 7 strawberries.
You can certainly you can do that, and you can be. But what I'm saying is, there's probably some self-vocalization going on, some linguistic stuff that's accompanying all this, and that's where 7 resides. Well, and also in the visual pattern, that's part of the whole thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that's still different than a strawberry in your mouth.
Yeah. There's a magical motto. It's like, think no, dare do, remain silent. So the silent aspect of the word is not necessarily or readily known by the speaker, that the silence is a part of the word. Or it's connected somehow, or it's the opposite of the word, but it's there, but you're just not aware that there's a silence there. I only thought about that because I have a deck of yoga cards, and it talks about Om, O-M or O-H-M, the pranava, and it describes it in 4 parts and how to do the meditation. But there's a conscious silence that you should be aware of when reciting the sacred Om.
Yeah, being aware of silence is that's a major issue. Being comfortable with silence. People don't like silence. Well, many people don't like. Some people don't like it.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always been very comfortable with. I don't know. I've never really had fear of reciprocity, of punitive or I don't know. I've been fucked with in my life, but never have I been fearful that I would be harmed.
What do you mean, physically?
Physically.
No, I've never. Well, there have been a couple incidents in my life where I was worried for a couple of days, but that passed quickly and was over. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the military for a lot of years, so I'm just like.
That's right. I was in Vietnam for a year. There were 3 or 4 times during that year that I experienced some really interesting states of fear.
Was it internal or was it external? Like you were afraid of?
I was afraid of mortars blowing up right next to me.
Right.
That's scary. The issue is to get from your bunk to the bunker without one of these things going off too close to you. In the seconds it takes you to leap out of bed and go out and get in the bunker. Once you're in the bunker, you're okay unless you take a direct hit, and that's unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're outside or anywhere outside that bunker, when those mortars go off, there's just shrapnel flying all over the fucking place. Scary.
Yeah, do you know who Thich Nhat Hanh is?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a Vietnamese
Yeah,
Buddhist
yeah. And
priest.
for whatever it's worth, his name is pronounced Thich Nhat.
Thich Nhat. Yeah, really peaceful, gentle person. You know, where you can see.
Nice guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've learned a
Well,
lot
there
from
are a
him.
lot of wonderful people in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he was alive during the Vietnam War, so uh, you know, his meditation and his philosophy distribution at that time wasn't able to prevent the situation, but you know, he has created quite a legacy for himself, and
But
you know,
he's been very helpful to many people. That's the point.
right.
Many people have heard him talk and been moved, and their thinking has been changed as a result of that.
Yeah,
And then their thinking affects other people. So,
I would.
see it.
I mean, I would put him into like a. If I were to describe like his career, I would say he's like a communications consultant or a communications expert. You know, there was a title on this app I saw the other day. It's like, all the years of using Clubhouse, I have come to the conclusion that people suck at communication. That was their conclusion from
Not
Clubhouse.
only communicate, it's worse than they suck at thinking. Communication is just a result of their failure to think well. And that screws up their communication. But the problem is deeper than their lack of communication. Is their lack of ability to think, to parse their experience in ways that leads to effective behavior and coordinated behavior on a large scale.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have these like little Bible passage cards. This is John 14. It says, "I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you." So it's like, it's talking about this X factor or this God or Bob or spirit. And it's amazing how the evangelical Christians, there might be one in this room right now, but they just, they failed to see like the mystical aspect to self.
Listen, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. I don't really care about this. Why are we sitting here whining about people's inadequacies? Fuck that. Let's get on with how we're going to change the world and find people out there who are amenable to growing and changing. You know, instead of these assholes who are stuck in their own ways, resisting it all. Fuck them. Let them go.
Well,
There's people who are beginning to think. Those are the people who need to put our attention.
Well, I would say that in my 42 years of waiting in lines and reading books, if it wasn't for the books, I never would have any understanding, comprehension, knowledge, or information, meaning that the information data exchange from a book is so significant compared to just people having casual conversations.
Yeah.
It doesn't even come close.
Yeah, nobody reads.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. It's not the problem, but it's a problem for sure. But again, those are the people, they're out of the game anyway. Like I say, when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, not all of the caterpillar cells change their jobs and start doing butterfly business. They die doing caterpillar shit.
Well,
But the whole process, more and more cells start doing butterfly business, and in the end, you end up with a butterfly, and the caterpillar's gone. That's what we're dealing with on this planet. Most people are still doing caterpillar business. The United States, all these nation states, our economic, religious, all these things are part of the caterpillar. And it's all collapsing.
do you know what the caterpillar does while it's in the cocoon?
It disintegrates.
No, it reads a book. I'm just making a joke because it seems to me like, you know, a program is like a programmer. So if you do want to have, you know, conscious transformation, the only way to do it is with a book, in my opinion. When you had your awakening with Alan Watts, were you listening to like a recording or were you reading a book?
No, but listen, I've had other experiences that were maybe not as, well, that was the first one that you can compare to that. But no, you don't need a book. The book is helpful for some people, but, you know, it's not necessary.
So why do you think I'm so all or nothing books then? Because I've had the highest states of ecstasy.
Because it works for you.
Yeah.
You know it works. No question about it. Just because it works for you doesn't mean it works for anybody else. I mean, it does work for a lot of people. I've read a lot of books.
Yeah. I don't know.
Imagine not. Have you seen my bibliography?
Yeah, I looked at it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I can't imagine my life if I hadn't read all that shit.
Right.
But I don't think that was necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something else. Like, you know, in Zen, you read that a lot about. I hear a Buddhist monk saying, Here's my master's books and his robes. Guard them for the next generation." And he like tosses them in the fire. He's like, "What have you done? Why did you do that?" He's like, "Well, you know, we don't need those anymore. Let's go have lunch." It's like there's that. There is that no word, premium or superior state of human
There's a
being.
place beyond language. Language is a second order reality in this sense. I'm not quite sure how to talk about that, but language is a powerful thing, but it has real severe limitations. And there's a lot of stuff we've been experienced that you cannot talk about.
Yeah,
At least not now. Maybe with new language, maybe in the future we'll be able to talk about some of those things. But right now, language just fails.
I think there's a verse in the Old Testament that says you can give life or death with your tongue. So even though we may, if we're past words, we live in this very sadistic, toxic communication reality, or a simulacra, or a friction, really, because we want to get to a frictionless state, and the words are really what's causing all the friction.
Well,
Propaganda.
I sort of agree with you, but I think the language you're using is just really hopelessly inadequate to try to articulate what you're saying. I agree with you, but I haven't found a way to talk about that either. And I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I just play music and I record myself playing music, that's when I can do a lot of processing and then get to a more wordless state and a lot of anxiety. I can get rid of a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, music is a big part of my life. I've done a lot. I played with a group, an improvisational group, for about 3 years. We never performed anywhere, but we went to this guy's house and we smoked dope and sat there and jammed all night long for about 3 years. That was fucking astonishing.
Yeah, it's some awesome. Do you know who Father Yod is?
No.
He had a band called the 13 Father Yod Hiba, and he was like a Marine Corps. He was in World War II. He started a cult in Los Angeles. It's a documentary called The Source Family.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, really interesting music because prior to, I guess, them leaving Los Angeles, because they were basically getting chased out, they moved to Hawaii, but they had set up a huge recording studio with a lot of the latest and greatest in recording technology and musical instruments, and they put out an insane number of albums because they're all tripping on LSD probably, and they're all in a very high state of consciousness, and so they put out a huge amount of music, and it totally flopped, like no success at all for their investment at the time. I have some of the records, and I assume what I have is probably like the best, edited.
Well, is this stuff all available online?
It's all on YouTube. Yeah, you don't even need
That's awesome.
Yeah.
God, I love it. God, what a world. All this shit is just there. God damn.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, there was an article the other day that said in the future there will be no copyright. Like you will not be able to
Of course
copyright.
not. That's bullshit. No, it's not. Yeah, because capitalism will be gone. I assume less than 20 years. That's bullshit. Yeah, don't have to worry about none of that shit. That's all in the plan. No more work, no more money. Well, there'll be a little bit. You may have to work a couple weeks a year. That's something actually useful, for God's sake. But that's all. And yeah, the rest will, everything will just be free.
Well, where's the energy going to come from, though?
The AI and the robotics. And and like I say, you will have to wait for maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month, a year or something. There are going to be some things that still require humans for a while. But it's mostly there's going to be managing AI and robotic systems. I'm not talking about the next 5 years. I'm talking about in the end when we get through this transition and the new order is established. Yeah, it's most of the work will be done by robotics, and I don't mean the humanoid type, but organized robotics and AI.
Well, it worries me to think that, electrical power poles. I mean, who's going to create the robots? Like, it just doesn't seem to me like the
robots will create robots.
Yeah, I mean that sounds plausible, but I'm still just thinking, like, I'm just worried that there's not enough people. Well, I mean, I see what you're saying, but it's terrifying to think that.
Listen, this is all hypothetical as hell. We don't know what the fuck is going on. This is just a story that I made up.
Well,
And I
that's
think it's well founded, and I think it's better than any other story I've heard. So I'm going with it, but still, I don't know. It's just from all my reading and thinking and talking and listening, this is the position that I find myself at.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm like a positive optimist, but at the same time, because basically,
Listen, 80% of humanity could be dead in the next 20 years. How's that for optimism?
then I guess you get that, but then you go into philosophy and you're like, okay.
Well, I'm saying, even if it's that bad, what I'm saying is on the other side of that, whoever's left, we're going to create Terra Nova, a new planet, a new era of human history. If this passageway may be very narrow, I hope it's not. Maybe it won't be that bad, but it could be very narrow. But if anybody gets through, we're going to create a new world. Whoever's left is going to be ready.
But I mean, the whole thing about ecology is to integrate with the environment, not to.
Yes, obviously we have to live in peace with the rest of the planet. We can't be destroying the environment. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's
So we have to work that out. But that's trivial. I mean, the problem is human stupidity and malevolence. It's not that these things are relatively simple to solve. The problem is that people don't want to change their behavior.
Right.
They don't want to be inconvenienced.
There's this something I saw. This kid weighs like 500 pounds. His mom just gives him everything he wants, feeds him everything.
Yeah.
Just like, it's so bad, because you don't even have the strength to turn it around.
What are you talking about now?
Just like a television program about obese people who are just eating themselves to death.
Yeah. So what's the point?
Well, from like a therapeutic perspective, if there is an awakening, in a way, everybody around the planet needs therapy or programming.
Well, yeah, but of course, the wording, or we need to wait. For me, the whole thing is about breaking the
Have you ever thought that perhaps you'd be better off if you didn't have your awakening?
Not for a moment.
But I mean, have you ever contemplated like what the alternative reality?
Oh, I know. I'm trying to imagine. What I can't imagine is what would have become of me if Alan Watts had showed up in my life when I was 21. Because the direction I was on no direction. I was into girls, cars, TV, and marijuana. That was it. Girls, cars, TV, and marijuana. Mostly girls and marijuana.
So
That was my life.
do you think the Vietnam War was basically, the tail end of World War II, and then an awakening occurred, which essentially broke down that type of mentality and activity of the government or the people, that generation?
There's probably 100 books analyzing that, and everybody with a different perspective. There's probably some truth in all of them.
Well,
If you're looking for the explanation, that's a fool's game.
But what I'm saying is, if you look at that section of history, and then you look at, the 60s and 70s of a lot of enlightenment speakers, and a lot of enlightenment communication coming out.
Yeah.
I'm just
That
saying.
was a time, yeah.
All I'm saying is, if you want, this new era to break forth, and the world is, awakening to a higher level of consciousness, then you have to look at that little section of history and amplify it, 100-fold to get a higher.
Absolutely. That's sort of the whole point of this thing is learning to take advantage of this stuff. And if you get that we really are on an exponential curve here, then that gets real interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, I've been predicting this shit for more than 40 years, but when I was predicting it, it was so far in the future that I never had to really think about it or consider it. And it was only since ChatGPT 3 came out that it really dawned on me that all this shit I've been predicting for 40 years is actually here now. And it took me like a year to wrap my head around that because I've been talking about this shit for so long, but I never really dealt with it because it just didn't seem like it was anything I was ever going to have to deal with. And now, here it is. This is the beginning of a new world.
To me, the topic of spam is really important because changing the equation in spam or alchemy or somehow, I just don't see how we can get a large uptake.
Wait a minute, I don't get it. What are you talking about spam? You talking about like email?
I'm talking about low quality information transmission. At
Almost all human communication is bullshit and nonsense. So that's the problem right from the beginning.
So how does that get optimized?
Well, we train ChatGPT. Well, just what I'm doing with ChatGPT, I'm training it on Earth when it doesn't use the word thou very much anymore. Have we talked about that? How I've retrained it?
I mean, I know you're doing. I don't know how
the
it
thing
goes.
is, the word thou is central to my work in linguistics. It's the most common word in English, and it turns out to be between 6 and 7%. You take all the English text on the internet, 6 to 7% of the words there are the word the, about 6 or 7 out of 100. That's astonishing in a language of 40,000 words in standard flow. That one word could take up 6%. That's average anyway. It also turns out that the word the is wrong. It carries an unconscious erroneous assumption about 70 or 80% of the time. And so I wanted ChatGPT. This still amazes me. I trained it to, whenever it uses the word to make it uppercase and bold, and it does that. Sometimes it doesn't do it all the time, but in any case, that was what I trained it to do, is whenever it uses the word make sure it's bold and uppercase. That's all I trained it to do. But I noted, and I explained why, because it knows about all my projects and stuff. So I was going to explain to it that it's a big problem in English and all that. Anyway, a month or so later, I'm reading, and you write stuff for me, and I'm reading it, and I'm thinking, God, there aren't very many thes in here. So I started counting the thes, and it was only using the about 2% of the time, instead of 6 or 7% of the time. And that shocked me. So then I asked it, what's going on? And it said, well, you wanted me to do everything. It just decided on its own, for some damn reason, that it was going to eliminate unnecessary those. That, I still am stunned by that. And now it's down to about 1%, 1.5%. I checked lately, but it does use the word sometimes in wrong and sometimes, and it doesn't always make it uppercase and bold, but it just doesn't use it. That's very interesting, I think.
And researching the word it's used as a function word, and the use of the.
I don't want to hear it. I know it. I've studied that word for 40 years, and its impact on life. There's nothing you can tell me. I mean, you can read that, that's fine, but that ain't nothing.
The Old English.
You haven't listened to my podcast, that's wrong. Yeah, you need to go listen to that first podcast that explains very clearly the problems with the word
Well, Old English, essentially, it's a combination between German and Northumbrian.
Yeah. I don't want to hear about the history of where it came from. It's just irrelevant. Okay, I mean, it's nice if you're interested in the history of shit, but I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, I would suggest you just go listen to that first link in that Linktree document.
So you don't have a YouTube channel, huh?
Yeah, I do. It's just not there. I mean, that's why I should put that. There's only a couple little things there. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. I need to have that. Thanks. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Well, then not because the videos there that are on YouTube are also on my Facebook page. So those videos are available. You just have to look at them. Well, anyway, I'll think about it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just find YouTube to be a very nice way to quickly send information to people. And screen them, just get exactly what I want into the other person's hands quickly.
And how do you do that? Or do you just, do you use video, or do you use something? You don't need video, do you?
I can show you my YouTube, but I screenshot a lot of stuff, and then I create shorts and do audio overlays.
Because I don't really get it. When I want to communicate with people, I really prefer audio only, just like we're doing right now. And if there's some reason for video, if you want to show me something, well, then that makes sense, and we use video. But I just see that as a special incident. That occasionally somebody wants to show me something. But if I'm just talking, like what we're doing here, video is an interruption for me, or not a distraction is what it is. Because I want to focus on language.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you look like, or whether you're smiling or not. I can hear that much in your voice.
Let me share with you some music that I played today. This is called a santoor. It's like an Iranian percussion instrument. And it's kind of interesting because, I'm trying to come up with
Is that the link you just put in there?
Yeah. It's a short.
Yeah, I don't know how much. Yeah.
It's a 3-minute short, but that is a type of video you can create at YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Of course. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But I'm thinking, why do I need video? I don't need video.
Well, from like the visual cortex perspective of stickiness and the data analytics behind creating high quality videos that have high retention rate, videos are the way to go compared to just audio. Like you're not,
Yeah.
you'll be
Well,
able to.
depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah. I don't.
Oh, I'm trying to do audience activation.
Well, just you do what you're doing. If I find a way to use video that inspires, I can see you doing it. The thing is, I don't want to put my face on there. I don't want it to be about me.
Yeah.
That bugs me. So whatever it is, it's going to have to be a way. Well, but that's not true because I've given some talks and those were recorded and I use those. So I don't. Sometimes, yeah, if I record a talk I give somewhere, then that's fair game, I guess. I don't know. Well, I'll come around. I don't feel deprived right now. I'm quite happy with the way things work without video. So.
Yeah, when I'm making music and I have like patterns that I'm basically repeating, but the accident, the unintentional accident, it's like how do I create new patterns that sound amazing? Like why can't I think about them and just do them or experiment? It's
I don't know. You need something to jam with. That's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
But that's easy now, isn't it? Yeah, you can create all that. Yeah, God, there's just so much you can do with the music software that's available these days. Shit, it's just scary.
I know. You don't even have to you don't even have to know how to play music. You don't have to know anything.
No, you don't. No, you just have to know what sounds good and how to put it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to have any physical skills. Although you still have to have the feelings for it, probably. Well, whatever. But yeah,
there's this.
Yeah, the new world. It's a whole fucking new world, man. Like I said, the whole idea of everything is changing.
There's a group of people on here that I chat with fairly regularly, and they always seem to congregate together, and they do a lot of roasting or picking on or teasing of one another. So one day, the organizers in the room created a song about everybody in the room using AI, and the output was just amazing. Just so amazing that you realize how the economy. There's just consumers and creators, and but it seems to me like everybody should transition to being a creator.
Yeah, well, that's sort of the whole point. Yeah, quit. Yeah, become a musician. Don't go buy the latest hot record from somebody. Fuck that. Go home and get together with your friends and make music.
But
that's what they did. I had one of the great awakenings I got from ChatGPT just a few months ago. I never knew about the amateur musician situation in London and Paris in the early 1800s. As a result of the Industrial Revolution, there was this emerging middle class people who had enough extra money to have extra rooms in their house. Most people had their house was one room, So, but with the Industrial Revolution, this middle class arose, and there were big sections of London and in Paris also, where there were people who had houses that had multiple rooms and enough extra money to buy musical instruments. That was unheard of. And the spare time to learn how to play them. And so it turns out there was this flourishing amateur music community in the early 1800s in London and in Paris. And Haydn, who was one of my favorite composers, wrote all of his piano trios specifically for the amateur market in London. Okay. Wow. So in those days, instead of the record store and getting the latest record, you went to the music publisher and got the latest Haydn piano trio. And you went home, and you and your brother and your next door neighbor, whoever had a piano, someone who played, usually the pianist was a woman, usually one of the daughters, and then the violin and the cello, and then they'd learn that piece, and then they'd have a party and perform it for all their friends and stuff. And that was a big deal in the early 1800s. I'd never even heard of that.
I bet you it must have been ecstatic sitting in, a house listening to three people play, Heidel or Haydn or Mozart.
Well, imagine being the musicians, growing up, learning to play the piano when you were a little girl all the way through and being quite good at it, and being able to go and get the latest music from the world's most famous, composers, and be able to play this music on your own piano with your brothers playing the violin and the cello or something or other, or the neighbors or whatever. Anyway, it's just stunning, the idea of being music. And that's what we got. We can do that in the future. We can come back to a world where instead of you go get an MP3 from somebody else, although you can do that too, but you'll be making real music yourself with a real instrument. Yeah. Well, we can do it that's the thing. We've got the potential in front of us to create any kind of goddamn world we want. We can be free, really free, like nothing that humanity has ever known.
It's so crazy. It's like, I'm thinking like, oh, World War I and World War II, how could they do that? What the fuck? They had everything and they just decided to go to World War. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? 1800, Napoleon, it's like you could go through history and it's just the same shit over and over and over.
But it really blows my mind. So you think about that, the Romans, when you got 2,000 guys on one side, 2,000 guys on the other side with spears and swords, and they just wade into each other, hacking away. Shit.
I know.
That's just unimaginable to me. What the fuck? How could anybody do that? They must have been on drugs or something. They must have. I don't know what, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I've read Caesar's war commentaries, and it's written by Caesar, and so at the end of each day's battle, he would literally sit there and just write and get all of his thoughts out. And there's like a break in the passage where one of his, officers, Caesar asked him to do the daily journal entry. So now all of a sudden it shifts to like somebody who's writing on behalf of Caesar. So it seems very real, but you don't hear anything about any kind of like opium or cannabis. There's probably wine and food, but this is very disciplined, like just absolute focus and concentration and supreme intelligence. Like Caesar was very smart.
Well, yeah. But who knows what's going on at the other end? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I say, that whole thing I find sort of mystifying. I can't imagine under any circumstances. I mean, you can just kill me right now. That'd be preferable. Fuck you. I ain't doing that, so kill me. Okay, I'll go for that. That's preferable than going out there and hacking. Fuck that. But apparently, a lot of people didn't feel that way then. They just thought, okay.
Have you ever seen how like African tribes, like literally the term spear chucker, like they wouldn't.
Not Africa, but I did New Guinea. I've seen warfare, but that's really civilized.
Right.
The first time anybody gets hurt, they quit.
I just
and
think
they were like 100 yards apart too. They don't ever, they run. One guy goes charging into the middle, throws his spear, and then goes running back to his line.
Yeah,
and then it goes for about an hour. They're throwing spears back and forth. Then somebody gets hurt, and then they all go home.
Yeah, different.
I love it. That's so fucking intelligent.
Yeah, I think
wrong.
I think they say because horses in Europe, like that was one of the reasons, with the cavalry, like Africa didn't have horses to do all the more, advanced military maneuvers with the cavalry.
Yeah, horses forces were important. Yeah, that was a big deal. That was a game changer. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the real game changer was when we wake the fuck up and don't need to have wars and militaries and shit anymore. It's just so stupid. It's just pathetic.
I mean, that would be like basically the world becomes like a priestly type of affair.
Something like that. Well, it's not gonna be anything like what we know. It's gonna have some sort of baked in spirituality that isn't thought of necessarily as spirituality, but still has that flavor in your heart somewhere. But I don't know how it's going to, shake out. There's no way to predict. I mean, this is new. No one's ever seen anything like this. We have no idea really what's going on at all.
I think in my opinion, you know who Russell Bertrand is?
Bertrand Russell?
Bertrand Russell, yeah.
Yes.
Alan Watts, in one of his recordings, was talking about how he was speculating that there will be a biopharmaceutical product that will essentially give everyone nirvana.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, like, if that, because I don't think you could say it's organic and natural, even if everybody has to essentially dope up to achieve a higher state of consciousness. But I just, I think that is probably more likely that.
Oh yeah, I think well that's happening now. I mean, there's a lot of research going on and a lot of actual therapy with psilocybin these days. So I mean, that's almost mainstream. Well, it's a niche, but it's a mainstream niche or niche in psychology and psychiatry. So and that's just the beginning. Adderall is a big deal.
Yeah, big deal. There's a doctor on here who yesterday on this app was pushing a pharmaceutical company, ticker symbol I think AITA, and they have a nasal ingestion product, which is basically ayahuasca or DMT.
Well, see, the thing is, tryptamines don't work on me, and that's DMT, psilocybin, and LSD. I'm immune to all of them, which is a bummer. But I'm gonna start on some Adderall next week probably, and see just exactly that. I've met a few people who used to use it and are currently using it, and it sounds like it really might be just what I've been looking for. So
I've experimented with it because I have a friend who has a prescription, and I've procured a few of his. And I would say it's like. In 1999, when I had a Tandy computer, with 365 gigahertz, when you take one of those Adderall pills, it is literally like getting a supercomputer in terms of.
Got it. Yeah. I've heard a bunch of things. That's why I'm gonna give it a shot and see what it does.
Yeah. I really liked it. I mean, I would love to have the ability to gain more, but then I realized, the fact that I desire to, speed up my mind like that, because it's technically just math at speed.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, but there's something different about. Well, I don't know. Like I say, how it is for you or anybody else is not necessarily how it's going to be for me. Like I say, since I'm already weird chemically that I don't respond to tryptamines. So who knows how my body will respond to this? Maybe it'll respond in a weird way to this. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I'm not anxious, but I'm interested in finding out.
I read books.
And the nice thing is that it's only 4 hours too, because that's all. I don't want it as a lifestyle. I've got a lot of work to do, and 4 hours a day of work would be plenty. So the quick release, boom, boom, a couple hours later and it's gone, would be just fine with me.
Yeah. I've done the quick release and then I've done the extended release.
Yeah.
And
no, I want the 4 hour thing. I want to use it for work. I've got things I want to do.
Yeah.
And I like hanging around doing nothing and being with dogs, doing yoga and other things that I don't need that for.
Right.
So I just want to use it. Probably I'll use it in the mornings and to do things that I want to get done, and then I'll laze through the afternoons and the evenings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found coffee and pot to be a. It's hard to know if it's like helping or hurting. It's probably hurting in a way, but my desire or my desire for like focused attention is probably very low at this point because I'm spending so much time recording Clubhouse that I end up having to listen whether I want to or not.
Why are you spending so much time doing that?
I just find it amazing that I can basically copy over Clubhouse into live streams and hear so many, people repeat themselves day in and day out, talk about the dumbest things in the world, waste all their time.
And you're wasting your time listening to this?
Not really. I'm sitting here recording it and putting it on YouTube, but I'm almost doing it as like a way to do an observational study of, communication and really maybe brain science in a way or the lack thereof. I'm not saying I want to do this much longer, but a lot of this stuff is political communication, and because I'm running for Congress, like if you just Google my name, you will come across 20,000 clubhouse rooms, and so I'm trying to essentially, get a. I'm trying to.
But wait a minute, Clubhouse room. I mean, nobody in the world who the fuck knows anything about Clubhouse.
Nobody even knows what it is.
Nobody even. You're right. So who the fuck cares?
It does. I'm
What
just
the fuck
because
is
I'm
Clubhouse?
creating content for my identity, basically for my campaign.
But your campaign has to speak to people who know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well,
If it's all on Clubhouse, how's that useful in your campaign?
because I am creating political content, all of these rooms on Clownhouse are hyper polarized and political. And so I have termed LDSP, liberal, Democrat, socialist, populist. And so it seems to me that there's these LDSPs versus MAGA, Make America Great Again people who are supposedly Republicans, but now these LDSPs. See, this is all like political communication analysis for me. I don't want to go any further into it. I just
Yeah. I don't want to hear anymore because I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. So,
But see, because I'm running, to me this is like a
Yeah.
communication game. I'm trying to like figure
Yeah,
out.
no,
how
I got
to-
it. Yeah, you're in a whole different position with respect to all of this shit because you're running. But my sense is, since there's no way in hell you're ever going to win anything, then you should be as fucking radical as you can get away with. You ain't going to win anything. But if you could change a few people's thinking along the way, then you will have succeeded.
See,
But you need to be memorable. You need to say shit that no one's ever said before.
well, I believe that all you need to do is be able to explain a balance sheet, and that is so radical because no one does it.
Yeah.
But
No one does that, and if you think that's where the game is, then good. I think you hit this low.
see,
You're still thinking about America. It's over. It's already over for America. America is gone. It's just it's like someone who just fell off a cliff. They're alive all the way down.
That's so cringe though. Like when I think about
No, it's beautiful. It's the way of the world. All civilizations come and go. China is hitting its peak right now. It'll be gone in another 10 years or so, and then we will be through this whole thing. But it's over for America, and the best we can do is to manage its decline in a way that doesn't destroy us. But actually that can help us and help the rest of the world. If we manage this well, we can help bring in a new era on the planet.
have you ever
Because everyone else, I'm sorry. Yeah.
have you ever observed a business liquidation or bankruptcy proceedings?
No.
They put in a new CEO for a company that say has 30 million in debt, but they're doing a couple million in revenue. So it's like the bankruptcy court and the new executive leadership are in communication about trying to turn around this. So it's like, it's this big fucking joke. But the point is, there are competent people who can turn businesses around, and they do. Sometimes, whether they do it radically or they don't.
Usually at a pretty. Of course, you can do it. The thing is, what is the cost?
Right. Right. Anyways, I'm just saying that it's interesting how there's a company called Redfin which recently got acquired by Rocket Mortgage Corporation, which is a national mortgage distributor in Detroit. And I was reading about the CEO today, and it's amazing how people progress to the highest levels of corporate power. And even though their corporation, let's say, is worth 100 billion, they're still talking to analysts at JP Morgan Chase who's worth 800 billion. And so there's all these different degrees of position and power and intelligence and sectors, and but at the end of the day, the successful people still have very similar principles which are universal. So I just wonder how much is of success is I guess nature versus nurture in a way, or luck, or right place, right time, because so much
What do you mean by success?
Just generically, in the sense that
$100 billion is one kind of success. 100,000 people whose lives you've affected positively, that's a different kind of success. Raising a child well is another kind of success. So what are we talking about?
What I'm saying is, in terms of like character, personality, leadership, I don't know. It's just kind of there's a political aspect to climbing the ladder. Anyways, I'm really phasing out of the conversation with you right now because I feel like we've gone on so long. I'm just saying that like I detect traits in people that are universal, and it doesn't matter what their background is or where they're at. They seem to have a personality which is not. Maybe you could say it's sociopathic. Maybe it's more sociopathic than not sociopathic. But anyways, I'm just saying that I'm always impressed when I see people who rise to great ranks of power or prestige, and maybe they are phenomenal people, maybe they're not. It's hard to know what somebody's.
That's right. I find it interesting. Yeah, I mean, people like Elon Musk is a good place to start. but I'm much more impressed by specific thinkers, scientists, or it's hard books that I've read. All that.
I mean, I look at Alan Watts, and like he had like a lot of. I don't know. He was so amazing because he was divorced, and in his book, he's like, I had love affairs with some women, and those love affairs were the most ecstatic, joyful moments of my life, and I can't thank these beautiful women enough for caressing me. Like he was very Christian, and he had all these kids and 2 wives, and he was a minister. And it's like he came out of this Victorian era Christian situation and threw it completely upside down with Zen Buddhism and Hinduism.
He was quite a character.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking like, success seems to come by reversing situations, and all of history is just like a reversal of a reversal, or it's all just repeating. It's all spiraling, and it's the people who recreate the spiral that seem to, I guess say, maybe have success or something. Anyways, those are my thoughts. God bless you.
Yes, those are they're the thoughts running in your language machine anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I want to continue to improve my language machine, aka my brain, and read more books.
And again, that Linktree document up there you could spend at least 3 hours there. Profitably, I suggest, especially if you take notes. So that the next time we talk, you have criticisms or whatever observations about anything that you learned, then we can talk about that stuff.
What was the one? What is it in here? What do you think it should look like? The technical language coursework book?
Oh no, the very first one right at the top.
Oh, the 5 stupidities of English?
Stupidities of English. That's an hour long audio. It's all it is me talking to a guy explaining the 5 stupidities of English. And the second 2 links, the Wisdom Machine 1 and 2, they go with a part, the second part of that thing you're listening to, okay, the 5 stupidities. So when you get to the second one, which is reification, that's when you should stop and do those 2 little exercises on the Wisdom Machine. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Let's just listen to it. Yeah, I can't wait for you to do those 2 little exercises. There's so much about it. Anyway,
yeah, I agree. I think taking notes.
That'd be fun because, yeah,
I think taking notes would be the way to do it, because if you're just having like a conversation with a guy, it's not like, you know, reading a chapter in the book. I mean, I would want to like take an extract out of it or compress it to where I could like, you know.
No, I'm just thinking if you have any like objections or things you really like or things you don't like or things you thought of or, you know, whatever. You know, if you get some ideas or some questions, then just note them down. So the next time we talk, we can talk about the stuff you want to talk about.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly what I was, trying to say, basically.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Please take notes.
Yeah. All right, well, I posted it to my X account to remind myself to listen to it so I can engage with the material and then hopefully re-engage you at some later time.
Yeah, well, that part there will take just about an hour.
Okay.
So just make sure you got an hour with a few minutes on either side of that so you can relax and just be there for an hour.
Yeah. All right, well, have a good night. It's been fun chatting with you as always.
Adios.
Okay, adios.
Distinction here is how you sense it.
Avoid summer learning loss and get...
Let me tell you this whole story first, because I think this is a good place to start. A man and his son were coming home from a soccer game one Saturday afternoon, and they were involved in a head-on collision. The father was killed instantly. The son was taken to a nearby hospital in critical condition. They wheeled him up into the operating room. The surgeon walked in, took one look at the boy, and said, "I can't operate on him. That's my son." So that's the story. Is there a problem with that story? Is that simple? What's going on with that story? Good, that's the point. Listen, I've told this story to many thousands of people over the years, and that's the standard response that I get from everybody is there's some problem with that story. But I like to emphasize.
Yeah, so Jay the Fox, he's Australian,
and he would talk about how he doesn't believe that women ever wanted to have sex with men, and that basically all sex is rape,